That is such an amazing acknowledgement of that awareness because it is very humbling to be aware of the ego because the ego doesn't want to be seen because then it has no power. It's not having any fun anymore. And so I remember for my daughter when she's 13 now, Katana, but when she was younger, we had a lot of conversations about the ego. We identified it, and when she was younger, we named it I think it was the bunny, the dark bunny, or the blue diamond. We identified it to some visual, but it was a bunny. Not a cuddly bunny, but it was a bunny. And as she grew up, we started to be more aware of how it showed up. And she started going to school. She was homeschooled for many years. And then we had, different ways of schooling, distributed learning. But one thing I would say to her when I recognized her ego showing up at school and she would come home with these experiences is at the beginning of the day, I'd say, as soon as you walk through the door, just have an awareness of where your ego's at. Because if you know where it's at, that's all you need to have. But if you don't know where it's at all, then you have no idea if it's in the driver's seat. And that's the scary part. If you're not aware of it, you don't know where it is and when it's going to pop up. And for me, when it did show up and I finally saw it, it was the most humbling of experiences because I was like, wow, I did not realize that I was not even there. Right. And so even just the awareness of working with it every day, where is my ego today? Like, where is it showing up? How is it showing up? Right. This is that instead of evicting him, like I'm free from my ego. Sure, you're free from it, but it's also acknowledging where it's showing up. It's still going to show up somehow, some way. It's not separate from us. Again, it's like learning to walk with our shadow. Without shadow, there cannot be light, and without light, there cannot be shadow. Yeah, we have nicknames for ours. So we know when it's present. We're like, oh, there's that person again. I might reveal the name of one of our egos, my husband's ego. It's become an ongoing thing. It works in both ways, right? It helps us to identify when it's there and it's not really us, but then it also brings lightness to it that it doesn't have to be so dark because, and I will share this experience, when I was dealing with the really, really big humbling of where the 3 year period where I was not aware that my ego was in the driver's seat with all the justifications of why I was doing all the things I was doing. I was so out of body and I was going through such massive panic attacks. I couldn't sleep at night because I was so disconnected from myself. And I would remember getting up in the night and walking to the bathroom and passing the mirror. And when it all started to unveil, I found myself completely numb and terrified, like in terror, to look in the mirror because I didn't recognize myself anymore. That's how disconnected I was with myself. Actually, it became a part of a lyric in one of the songs I released later that year, that helped me through that process. I use songwriting as really healing part of my journey. And I named her the Dragon Lady because she was terrifying. Like I felt completely terrified of how nasty I could actually be, how scary my ego really was, how much of a tyrant she can be. And that's the humbling part is like, yes, it was me. I did these things. I made these decisions. I hurt people's feelings, not intentionally, but I hurt people that I loved. How could I do that to people I love? And so that's the part that's humbling. The true apologies of not just sorry for saying that thing, but like deep, deep apology of like, I am so sorry that I hurt you, that I could be so disconnected with myself and not know who I am, that I could say or do things that hurt you and be okay with that. And that's to my husband, to my daughter, to myself, to my friends.